Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including a Miraculous Ladybug, which we'll be getting into today. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And April Collins.
Hello.
Today, Delaney, April, and I are back to discuss more Miraculous Ladybug Season 2, this time Episode 3, Prime Queen. Prime Queen aired in Portugal a few days ago. We are recording this on Friday the 27th. As of now, it has not yet aired in France, but it will in 2 days. We are discussing the English dub, which is currently the only thing available to us. Miraculous Ladybug Season 2 started up in France as of this Friday or yesterday. France will soon be getting back on track to surpassing random European countries for the premieres. But France doing a episode of Ladybug a day up until November 2nd. So we have 3 more coming this week, but we're getting into just episode 3 today, Prime Queen, the English dub of it. Dylan, where can I find this episode? Check Reddit, Miraculous Ladybug, Google that, and that's your best shot at finding links. So, that being said, check us out at overlyanimated.com or search for us on iTunes, Overly Animated Miraculous Ladybug. We're going to be covering all of season 2 of this show, so make sure you subscribe to not miss any of our season 2 Ladybug coverage, whether that's on YouTube, you can subscribe to us there, or iTunes. So, spoilers, yeah, and make sure you check out our podcast on the season 2 premiere and episode 2, which we had up earlier in the week. We have a podcast on the first 2 episodes, but we're getting into episode 3, Prime Queen, today. Spoilers for this episode and the first 3 episodes of season 2. Delaney, what are your thoughts on Prime Queen?
I really liked it. I thought this is a really good episode. Prime Queen's a really interesting villain. Maybe the closest we've gotten to Hawkmoth getting the Miraculouses. That got pretty
We've said that before.
Yeah, we have. But this one, I actually felt like the stakes in this one. And I also, for a bit, up and probably until the last couple minutes, I felt pretty I thought we were maybe getting somewhere with Alya discovering Marinette's identity.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there was maybe the illusion of some plot. Moving forward, I think in kind of a more general sense than there actually was. But I think it was a really good episode. It still feels different than a normal episode. There was other stuff going on. I'm kind of enjoying these. They're more involved. Ladybug and Cat Noir are the reason that Nadia got turned into Prime Queen. It just felt more involved. Also, I might just be really hype about Ladybug, which is fine. I thought this was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. It was neat. At first, it kind of felt when it was Lady Wi-Fi, but it still felt different. It was still really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I think Lady Wi-Fi is a good comp for this. And yeah, we were very hype on the first 2 episodes of the season. We loved them. Delaney maintaining the hype for Prime Queen. April, what about you?
I thought that this was a really good episode to come off of the first 2 because I don't know, I was kind of I'm not going to get my hopes super up for the 3rd episode just in case I'm back into season 1. But no, it was really good. I felt we still kind of had remnants of the plot that we sort of built up in the first 2 episodes, and then it kind of carried over. And I liked Prime Queen. I thought she was a very interesting villain. The whole going through the monitors kind of thing was a very interesting take on it, and not what I expected her power to be. So I enjoyed that. And no, I think it was a good episode. It was definitely better than season 1 in my opinion, and it carried over my hype from the first 2 episodes of this season. So. Digging it.
Okay, taking it good. I'm glad we're staying positive. Yeah, I mostly enjoyed Prime Queen as well. Yeah, I think it's definitely an inferior episode to the first 2 of the season.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. So I
I think they've built it. What I really liked about this episode, I just wanted to say it before I forgot because I remembered it. It was that now that we know Adrian's dad is Hawkmoth, and then they keep showing his dad doing stuff. I really like that you saw that here. You see Adrian's dad, and then you see Hawkmoth, and they seem to be focusing on Hawkmoth more.
Yeah.
Which I think is like really helping like these kind of episodes.
Yeah, it gives us more context into Hawkmoth and shots of Adrian's dad. Like he was like observing the interview, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
he's gathering intel. Like that's that's what he's doing. So yeah, I think just the reveal is going to add, even if they don't do anything with it, like it's just on its own will add a good dynamic to the show. Yeah. At first I was a little bit sour on Prime Queen on first viewing, just because the first episodes were so good, and there's a solid 4 minutes of this episode towards the beginning, which I think are kind of bad. But I watched it again, and it's a good episode. This is an above average Miraculous Ladybug episode. I think the highlight is the villain. I think this is one of our coolest villains we've ever gotten on the show. The power to go through screens is super interesting and was super well utilized within the episode in really interesting ways. I agree it's pretty comparable to Lady Wi-Fi, but this had its kind of its own unique spin on it. And she looked cool. She did interesting things. They had to like crack screens to subvert her. They had to draw her through screens, and she also used a screen to threaten Alya, getting thrown into a canal. That was I think that was one of the more interesting concepts this show's done, is like she's somewhere else and she's like pushing Alya through some sort of screen above a canal in order to in a sarcophagus, from the Louvre. So that was, that there's just some stunningly good villain stuff, I think, in this episode. I think that's definitely the good part. Another really good highlight is that this episode continues our trend of the show commenting on itself. That was introduced in these previous 2 episodes. Episode 1, the show made fun of the fact that it had not really revealed Hawkmoth's identity, and then did reveal it. Episode 2 made fun of the fact that Chloe causes everyone to be akumatized. And then this episode makes fun of the shipping in the show, in the relationship stuff with Cat Noir and Ladybug. So this is literally a villain whose entire motivation is to make Lady Noir happen. She's the biggest shipper of them all.
She ships it hard.
Yeah. So even if this episode ultimately doesn't achieve the heights I'm really hoping for in season 2, I think they're in the right mindset. We're not just playing everything straight, and we're not just it's not just a surface level presentation. We have this first season of material, and now we need to move forward with that in mind. So
do something with it.
Right. Hopefully do something with it, but at least be aware that it exists and comment on it.
I think they were making fun of her the identity stuff too.
They were, yeah. I think so as well. Yeah. Yeah, I think,
and also the they kind of made fun of the babysitting trope too. I got to babysit, but they're bye, Alya.
Bye.
Yeah. Marinette's babysitting, not good, not showing off on this one. But yeah, I think that, I think we're in the right mindset, even if this episode has its problems, and there's definitely some sloppy things. We had a pretty bad animation error at the end, and we had,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's, I don't know if I guess there's a chance they fix this for the French airing. I don't know. But, when Marinette throws up, when she does the Miraculous Ladybug at the end, it's the towel from the first episode of the show and not the tape roll from.
I died when I saw that.
Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, they reuse animation when the Miraculous Ladybug segment and several other points in this, but this is a hard thing to swallow given that we've waited a year and a half for season 2. I don't think they've spent that. I don't think that the year and a half means that the animators have had more time to work on it. I think that it's just been sitting there. But it was sloppy, and and I really got annoyed by the faceless producer talking to Nadia in the first half of this episode.
Oh yeah, no, I was like, ugh.
It was they
really
were just
weird.
too lazy to animate a face. They were we don't want to put the time and effort into this, so we're just gonna it makes that in combination with the towel thing makes the episode seem like it was pulled together very sloppily, and which is a sort of a disappointment considering episode 1 and 2 the animation was fine and great. So for you to third episode in let's ruin everything, it's just kind of, I don't know, a slap in the face kind of thing, especially because everyone knows that they reuse a lot of the animation over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's just it bothers me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the producer thing is necessarily out of laziness, but like they legitimately thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, I think it was a creative choice. I don't think it was a good idea. But the bigger thing that bothered me was just that she was just saying such simplistic things about like, oh, you got to get your ratings up, and she just repeated herself over and over. And it's like you're trying to comment on television and like how we consume media. And it was a very simple and unrealistic moral to take away from like what was happening. It's her first night in primetime, and she's getting hounded in her ear by a producer about ratings as it's happening. Like, no, that's definitely not a realistic thing that would happen. And there are realistic, terrible things that happen with television. Like, we're too bold into ratings, but that is absurd what happened in this episode. So it kind of felt a little bit childish, to be honest. The motivations of Nadia and Prime Queen here. Once we got past the faceless producer parts, I think the episode is great, but that really tripped me up in the first half.
Well, the thing was, like, I feel like they worked really hard to set Nadia up as the villain because, like, we know Nadia and we like her.
Yeah,
and like we know, like we've had a lot more interaction with her, but like I think they kind of just pushed it too hard. Like they were focusing so much on, hey, this is what we're gonna akumatize, and like it was super weird. Yeah. And like I didn't like it.
Yeah, Nadia was one of our more prominent characters coming out of season 1 who hadn't been akumatized. So I do think they wanted to give her good motivations, and they end up doing well by her because she turns into an awesome villain. But yeah, it's focused on too much here. So April, what do you think is the highlight of the episode for you? Is it the villain stuff? Is it maybe the cat and ladybug stuff we get?
It was the villain. Like, I really enjoyed Prime Queen. Like, I kind of touched on earlier. I just thought she was a really interesting villain. I mean, it was pushed for a little bit, and I don't know. Like, it just seemed like super obvious kind of thing. Like, oh, this is what we're doing. But I really enjoyed like the whole like she would kind of trap them in places kind of thing, and like she would be like, oh well, you can't follow me, or you can't get out until like you like admit that you guys are dating, or until you give me your miraculouses and everything like that. So I really enjoyed that, and sort of like her leading them through like almost like a maze kind of thing. Like, oh, you're on the train, and then you're in like what was it, like a freezer or something like that?
Yeah, just some freezer, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a freezer, and I was just like, what freezer has a screen in it? But
true.
I mean, that was interesting, but like but so I really enjoyed that, and like the taking like the fans captive kind of thing, because like that was sort of like their motivation for doing the interview in the first place, was for the fans, and then for her to like use them against them kind of thing was a little dark and very villainous. So I really liked it, Prime Queen. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the whole like shipping thing. I thought that was hilarious, like especially because Ladybug would like push back, and it was like, no, like you're only encouraging it, like stop it.
Yeah,
like if that's not what you want, then don't do it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, but Delaney, also enjoyed the villain Prime Queen.
Yeah, no, I think like probably the most interesting, like I just like how this episode was structured, I think was like the best part because of the villain, and like how Prime Queen like led them through. And I do think probably like having a villain separate, like they were like so far apart, I think it was what really made Prime Queen compelling. Like she was doing all these things, and like they really were helpless, like in that freezer. So I really enjoyed Prime Queen being able to pass through the screens and all that. Like she was really interesting, and like it actually was like, you might win.
Yeah, she seems super formidable, especially coming off of episode 2 when Despair Bear really wasn't a threat, and he was powerful, but the episode only gave him like 2 minutes to do anything. This episode, Prime Queen has a solid half of the episode at least, and she like has intricate schemes which are put into motion, and like she's mostly succeeds until Ladybug is smart. Like she outsmarts her. Like it's not just nonsense that takes her down. Like she's a smart villain, and Marinette has one of her smartest moments, I think, in figuring out how to lure her into the freezer with them, with her miraculous ladybug power.
It was nice too that like she had to look for the pizza box. Like,
yeah. By the way,
like, I like that.
Oh
I could
yeah, it
figure
wasn't
out
like
at
the
first.
obvious solution kind of thing that it had, like it has been in the past. Like it was like one of those things where she had to search for it. Like,
yeah. By the way, Delaney and I have debated this a lot on in the
gosh.
podcast. The Ladybug Vision creator Thomas Ostruck weighed in on Twitter. He says, "Indeed, it is not a literal thing that is happening. It is just a visual representation of Marinette's thoughts."
Told you.
Yeah.
Lawyered.
Yeah,
That makes
this
sense.
is the better answer. This is what we're hoping
This is what
for.
Delaney's been wanting.
Yeah, this is what we're hoping for because it's like Marinette isn't being given the answer to her by superpowers. She's just being smart. Like that's the better answer. So I'm glad.
I like that.
Yeah. So it does come across as this is what she's literally seeing. So it's like I still think it's not. There's maybe a better way to show it, but we just got to keep in mind it is what it's we're just visualizing Marinette's thinking. So but yeah, she kidnapped Chloe and she was on a train and like she was like pretty serious threats here with Chloe and Alya. Like they could have died.
Yeah, they didn't even rescue Chloe. Like.
Yeah, they just left her tied up on the train.
Also, I didn't understand like the whole like if it gets to this, like is it just gonna overheat? Like is the train gonna explode? Like
yeah, I was like, what are we doing Back to the Future?
Confusing.
Like what's going on here?
Yeah. Once it hit 88 miles per hour, like
or whatever that movie is with like the bomb on the bus. Like
oh yeah. So,
speed.
I guess like that's just the speed in which it would derail or something or crash. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah,
I wish they would have still told us like once it hits this point, then this is going to happen.
Like the gauge going red doesn't tell me a lot.
Yeah, there's still some sloppy moments even in the second half. That being one of them. Another one is when Ladybug tells Cat to save his cataclysm. And then he just uses it to escape the freezer at the end, which seems like not a big deal. I was so
confused. Like I was like, oh my god, is he gonna like use it on the Akuma? And then he just used it on the door, and I was like, bro.
Oh,
like you could have just gotten someone would have gotten you out. Like that didn't seem like a big. Oh, you got to save your cataclysm to escape the freezer. Yeah, so
like, darn it.
Yeah, like there's the episode definitely has highlights, but also has some like what moments I think like that. But yeah, I enjoyed the train sequence with her there and just going through screens. It's like this is the type of thing. One of the types of things that really separates this show and makes it unique is that they do like cool villain powers like this, and a lot of these powers play on technology. Like Lady Wi-Fi is definitely one of our best villains, and it's because of how they utilized the Wi-Fi with her. And here, it's even though it's like a pretty lo-fi concept of her just stepping through screens, like that's awesome. Like and the visual of her going into Chloe's room was really good.
Also, she just looked awesome. Like what a great character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is probably a top 10 villain of the show. Yeah.
I mean top 5. Like I really liked her a lot.
I was gonna say it's better than top 10.
Also, her name isn't stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, prime time, prime queen, I guess. All these names are Anglicized. This episode is a different French name, but it's yeah. So then the Alya, we talked about the Alya. She was like got in a sarcophagus in the Louvre, and then she was like slipping her into a canal. Yeah, it was interesting.
Also, do they just keep a screen like over the bridge?
Right, that one I didn't really get. But it's fine.
Well, I'll accept it this time.
Yeah, I don't really care. Yeah. So yeah, it was good. Yeah. Delaney, what do you think? This is it ended up being a big Alya episode, actually.
It really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think as Alya's number one fan? What did you think?
Well, I really liked it because they mentioned the Ladybug so many times, and then it paid off because that was my thing. Like in the beginning when they were like, "Oh, this is she runs the Ladybug," and at first it was just a jab at Nadia, but then like also Marinette agreed. Do a Ladybug exclusive interview with the Ladybug. So like, when's that going to happen? Chop, chop. And then, so they kept talking about it. And then like, she kidnaps her. And of course, Alya with Manon is always great because like, they're cute. And that was adorable, like putting her to bed and all that stuff. But then, at the end, when it's side by side and she was there like talking about the Ladybug, that was really great. So I'm really glad that paid off because it's like we talk about the Ladybug, but we don't do a lot with it. So it was nice to kind of see like a little bit of progress with that. And they talked about like she gets a lot of viewers. So like how famous is Alya?
Yeah.
And then like she's the autograph stuff. That was really cute. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, I love the ending with Marinette, Alya, and Manon. It was super cute, and
adorable.
Yeah, Alya ends up being a big part of the episode. I think that her, first of all, Alya continues to just be the biggest, like the best friend ever.
Best.
Like
she's wonderful.
She's
she
literally
puts up
the
with
chillest.
so much.
Just complete covers for hours for Marinette.
She has the flakiest friend in the universe.
Yeah,
and she doesn't even question it. Like that's the biggest thing. Like why?
Yeah.
How do you not question?
Yeah.
Like
that?
Marinette, you need to make her like a cake.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, at least she like hugs her like at the end a lot. Were you feeling the Moralia, Delaney? It was like an extended hug.
Always. I'm always feeling the Moralia villain. Always.
Yeah.
Moralia.
Yeah. And Marinette's like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta tell my bakery something. They're in my parents downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And always like, hey.
And always like the thing is, it's so absurd. And it's like, oh, and then she's gone for 3 hours. How do you not suspect she's Ladybug? The reason that Alya doesn't suspect is because Marinette's just already a ridiculous, clumsy person. So like, this is something
Right.
she would do. So like that's how she gets away with this.
Well, at first, like the look Alya gives her, I was like, does Alya know? So I'm just like, please, just tell Alya, like I'm dying on the inside.
Yeah.
Just let
I don't
just
even
let
care
her
if
find
Adrian,
out.
like, I need Alya to know.
Yes, Steve really wanted us to talk about how it would have been so much easier, everything in this episode, if Alya just knew Marinette's identity.
I
Yes.
almost thought that's where this episode was going to go
Me
for like
too.
half a second. I was just like,
die.
oh man, like this is where she finds out. Like this is going
I
to
was
like
ready.
super like thrust the plot forward or at least move it somewhere else. Like I was ready for it. And then it didn't end up that way. And I was like, dang it. Like, come on now. That's all I want. I want her to find out.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Just have to go to
Other than
absurd.
Alya being a superhero.
Yeah,
Obviously.
well, hopefully both will happen this season. But she just has to go to absurd lengths to, just to hide this from Alya. Just tell Alya, like, come on.
Right.
So Alya's
like,
super chill. She's not gonna tell your secret. She's just gonna want exclusive.
Yeah,
she's like, let me put you on my blog.
I blame Tikki for this. Tikki clearly is not chill about this.
Yeah.
Also, Tikki just watching TV. Like, Tikki, calm down.
Yeah, I like it. Tikki sees the commercial and it's like, oh, you're gonna reveal your identity. Like, Tikki doesn't.
And I'm like, Tikki, were you not there when this was scheduled?
Right? That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking too. I was like, wait, how does Tikki not know this? Like, what did Tikki have been
doing?
Yeah, it's.
Why aren't you in Marinette's purse? Why aren't you there? Did she die? Like, why are you like?
Why are you watching TV by yourself?
How did you not? Were you asleep? Like,
yeah, I guess maybe she sleeps. By the way, watching the English dub again has reignited my fear of Tikki. Like I was like, if you missed our season 1 coverage, I was terrified of Tikki for a while.
She's scary.
Yeah, Tikki. I think Tikki is the scariest character in animation.
I bought a plus Tikki just to like troll Dylan.
Yeah, and I think now that we saw the dub again, I think her English voice is scarier than her French voice. Like
It is.
it's just too cutesy with this all powerful immortal being. It's oh my god, it's so scary. Okay,
it's horrifying. You've seen too many shows.
No, she's horrified. She's immortal. Like, oh, why is she like this cutesy thing? Oh my god! And it's.
Do you want her to be like essentially like lifeless and like very?
If you've lived millions of years, you should be lifeless, right? Like you shouldn't act like that.
Well, like with no regard for humanity, like
she kind of already has that, I think. So
maybe.
Anyway, okay. People don't want to talk about the fear of Tikki before we talk about the big Lady Noir episode.
Oh man!
The villain's purpose is basically to make them admit their love for each other, and we get they get cornered by Nadia in the interview, and Cat's really into it, and Marinette says, I thought we agreed to no more Bugaboo, which is what I thought too. I thought we were done with Bugaboo Cat. Come on,
me too.
But it's bad.
Yeah, and then he says it again later. Yeah, and it's like, are you dating? And they show a slideshow of the best of Lady Lady Noir
This was
moment.
so good.
This is like the meta fan moment. Like, of course, first is the Dark Cupid moment that everyone's obsessed with. And
I was saving you. When did this happen?
Yeah, Kat hadn't seen it before. Yeah.
Also, I
He doesn't
enjoyed how
even
all of
remember
them,
it.
like all of them, were just because he sucks and she has to rescue him all the time.
Yeah, we got one of my favorites, which is Marinette like petting him under the chin. I appreciated that one.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was it was
the best of. They had them pre-populated. Like, how did you obtain these photos?
everyone
Do you have
shipping them in
cameras?
universe. Yeah, that's true. How did they get the photos? I agree. I guess
I'm more afraid of how they got those photos. And also, if they're able to obtain those photos, then wouldn't they technically already have access to what their identities are? Like, those are some pretty creepy shots,
yeah.
I guess.
Maybe it's just always taking all of them. She's just always following Ladybug around. Which, you know,
From the air? Does she fly?
she could soon.
Alya has a drone.
She probably does. Yeah, that's good. Good investigative journalism. You got to have a drone nowadays when you're covering superheroes. And then later, they try to in the train. They try to lure Prime Queen in by like, oh, yep, we're in love, and they like hold hands and say they're in love, and then they.
And then she won't kiss him.
No, in the first.
That was so good.
So first she like falls on him, and Cat starts purring.
That was good. Did you just purr?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, but then twice we have this gag of him going to kiss her, and Marinette says, "Not a chance, kitty."
No, I love how she like stares into the camera. Like that was the best.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's great. Yeah, as Marinette,
Ladybug being done with Cat is like my favorite thing.
yeah, it's great. She was surprisingly receptive for a lot of this, but then it's like, no, we're not doing that.
This is where the line is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so I really enjoyed both of those moments. It was overall definitely a big Lady Noir episode. Any progress on the two of them?
No.
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 I think it's complicated by what we talked about last podcast, like Adrian potentially starting to develop feelings for Marinette. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing to keep in mind. Is Marinette developing feelings for Cat? I don't see as much of that as I do.
I doubt it. No.
I think that's like in the range of the show, but I don't think that's as much happening as last episode showed Adrian liking Marinette.
I think she just wants to like kick him, like go away.
Yeah, I mean,
Like she likes him as a friend.
like she's
but
definitely
like,
more into him now than before. But
right.
I think she tolerates like his, I guess, flirting with her because she's like so used to it at this point. She's just like, okay, like
she's desensitized to the nonsense. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really see any big evidence that Marinette's like getting into Cat more, romantically.
No.
So,
no.
as disappointing as that is to a lot of shippers, but
Sorry, guys.
Look, one of the four combinations is going to, it doesn't need to be this one. We'll get the other ones happening. It's all related. As much as we try to separate the ships, it's all the same thing. So it'll happen.
It's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing. Yeah. So that's big shipping episode, trolling the shippers with the slideshow, and apparently everyone in universe ships them too, because that got the highest ratings.
I mean, obviously, like it makes the most sense.
Yeah. So we'll see when that happens. Other elements, we haven't talked a lot about Manon. We haven't seen her in a little bit. But I like that she's back. Manon's great.
She's cute, and it was like, "Mommy's on TV." Like that was cute.
Yeah, she was well behaved in this episode relative to.
She was very well behaved
to
in
the
this
past.
episode.
She was.
Yeah,
she wasn't like the focus of the episode though either. So I mean, like it was like one of the. It was like they set up the tension, and then they like were like, cool, done.
Yeah, it was nice how she always liked seeing Nadia on TV, and we already got the Manon akumatized episode, so it's good to still see her have a role in Marinette babysitting, and like, oh yeah, that's a thing too. Marinette babysits for Manon sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's what I got down here. Delaney, anything we missed from the episode you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Nope.
April?
We saw the crying breakfast friend.
Oh yeah,
That
that's
was
the last.
nice.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about
Oh,
the.
yeah.
I forgot to talk about the Alya's like changing channels. We see Jagged Stone, Aurora Boreal from episode 1. I was into that. Like we saw Aurora.
Oh, that's your fave.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
back. Let's get Aurora back on the show, please. And most importantly, for some reason, Steven Universe's crying breakfast friends is in this show. At first,
Is that supposed to be like some kind of like joke?
right. At,
or
at
what
first,
is
you're like,
that?
what do they do? Like, is this just like, are they just referencing something else, and it just happens to look like Crying Breakfast Friends is a fictional show within the Cartoon Network show Steven Universe. Like, is this an unintentional reference? But no, like, what else could they be doing? Like, this is they're
Right?
doing a Steven Universe tribute here.
It was very obviously like a Steven Universe tribute, like very.
That's kind of
obvious.
shocking to me. Like, obviously, everyone, like everyone in the animation industry, like admires Steven Universe, but I didn't expect it from like the French show, so that was cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was nice.
Well, yeah, that was shocking seeing
Yeah.
that. So let's bring in other show references and let's like have them watch Steven Universe in
That'd be great.
Let's do that.
There's just a randomly on the TV, you see some kid wearing a red shirt with a yellow star.
Yeah, we could
on
do
it.
that. Yeah,
Like,
I think so.
Marinette makes a hamburger backpack.
Oh yeah, that's that too. We could do that.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Last thing I want to say is Hawkmoth's at the end when his closing line on Prime Queen is Prime Queen turned out to be bad news. Which is like already a pun, but I was like, why didn't you say Prime Queen turned out to be fake news? Like that's much more relevant.
That's what we need.
That's much more
That was-
relevant.
That was a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah,
I'm very
I mean,
disappointed.
these episodes have been in production for a while. I don't know if it's been that long that we didn't have fake news back then, but I guess they went for the more kid-friendly pun with bad news. I don't know. I was like, why? Come on, this is an easy one. Anyway. So there you go. This is our Prime Queen discussion. Let us know what you overall good, but definitely not as good as the first episodes, but still good.
Yeah,
Agreed.
still good. Like I still think it's solid. We're doing good.
Yeah,
We're moving in the right direction, and I appreciate it.
in general, I think we've maintained the right direction in the first two. I am worried that Prime Queen represents a return to season 1, as we discussed. I definitely think that we will for a while just have normal episodes. But we do know that we have to turn people into heroes, and we have a 3-part special eventually. So,
That's a lot.
it'll eventually happen. But for now, I think we might be still in this pattern. So upcoming episodes are the Befana, Robustus, and Riposte. They'll have different English names, but yeah. So those are the rest of the episodes this week airing in France.
Well, Repose sounds like we're having another fencing villain.
Riposte, yeah, I don't know which one it is.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a storyboard that had been posted. I think it's from that episode for a while, which is like Ladybug saving, I think, Adrian. So we might get some Ladrian in that episode. Okay, so yeah, let us know. Do that at Prime Queen. Comment on YouTube or our website, overlyanimated.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube or iTunes to not miss any Ladybug podcasts. We'll keep covering season 2. Not guaranteed every one episode. There's a lot coming next week, but in some form we'll be covering every episode of season 2. So make sure you check out Overly Animated for all that. Consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Connie, aka Veronica Cucamonga. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Andy. But other stuff at Overly Animated. If you listen to us just for Ladybug, we do cover a bunch of other shows, including we just had a Unikitty podcast with me and Delaney. I actually think we had mentioned on the Unikitty podcast. I think Miraculous Ladybug and Unikitty probably have a similar audience. So they just had the sneak preview on Cartoon Network of that show. Check that out. Mysticon's coverage continuing as always. Again, I think potentially a similar audience. So.
Remember we're the magical girl.
Magical girl crew, yeah. So
yeah.
I guess maybe Unikitty falls. It's not really a girl.
It doesn't have to be a human.
Yeah,
but like,
does it have to be humans?
That's true.
Yeah.
How are we defining magical
Right.
girl?
Yeah. That's a separate topic. Yeah. Okay. So we'll all of that overlyanimated.com. Check out all that stuff, and excited to get more into Miraculous Ladybug. So we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.